Futsal Championship from the Domo Polideportivo in Guatemala City, Guatemala. Mexico taking on Canada for the right to meet Panama in the final tomorrow. Hi everyone, I'm Steve Schlanger. Thrilled to have you with us for this second game in the Final Four taking place here in Guatemala today. Canada and Mexico, two teams that have been terrific so far through the group phase and now on to the knockout round. And in this semifinal matchup, they will be battling for the right to take on Panama, the team which upset Costa Rica earlier today in another terrific semifinal matchup. Costa Rica, when it comes to futsal, has traditionally been a power, especially on the men's side. The women also coming in, topping their group earlier today in their semifinal, but could not get past Panama as they spring the 2-goal win to move on to the semifinal round. Meanwhile, Canada coming from the same group as Costa Rica, but finishing in second place to Costa Rica. They now have a chance to go one better and advance to the final, while Mexico has really been the best team in this tournament. They are the only team with a perfect record. They won Group B and now hoping to take that next step and secure their spot in the final tomorrow.
Damas y caballeros, démosle la bienvenida al campeonato de Concacaf Futsal a los equipos nacionales de México y Canadá. Damas y caballeros, les pedimos ponerse de pie. A continuación, escucharemos el himno nacional de México.
The starters for each side. First for Mexico, Cano, Gonzalez, Aguiar, Gomez, and Cruz are the starters for Aldo de Pozo, their head coach. And this has been a team that has kind of just motored through this competition. They haven't really faced all that stiff a competition because they have been so proficient, especially in front of goal. They are the top scoring team, and they are the team to beat here going forward through these last couple of days. Matthew Rodman from the U.S. is the head official, leading the line as far as the referees here tonight. Captains meeting in midfield with the officials. Starters for Canada. Has been the top move.
One minute gone by here in this semifinal matchup, Canada and Mexico for the right to battle Panama in the final tomorrow from here in Guatemala. Canada
losing their opener in the group stage on the very first day to Costa Rica 3-2, but then they produced back-to-back victories, first over Honduras, shutting them out 6-0, and then their biggest win came over the U.S. on the final day of the group stage 3-1. It was a winner-take-all match where whoever won that game would advance to the Final Four. So Canada with a huge victory over their neighbors to the south to get here to this semifinal today. While for Mexico, they have been rolling. The best team in the tournament, the only team with a perfect record with 3 wins from 3 games in the group stage, and all of them pretty decisive victories at that. First over Guatemala, the host nation, then beating Cuba before defeating Panama 2-1 on the final day of the group stage. Mexico threatening now as they look for the first goal of the match. It is from straight away. Mexico take the lead on Canada. The first goal in their semifinal matchup as Rosa Aguiar gets the tally. Aguiar with her 4th of the tournament, the top goal scorer for Mexico here at this event in Guatemala. Just showing patience, poise, taking the pass, waiting for the defender to blow by, and slotting it into the corner. So Aguiar with the first goal of the match, and Mexico with the 1-0 lead on Canada. If Mexico goes on to win this, they will face Panama in the final tomorrow. And again, they already beat Panama in the final day of the group stage on Thursday, 2-1. So it would be a rematch of that game for the title in this inaugural event, the Women's Concacaf Futsal Championship from here in Guatemala. And what it also will serve as is a game that will send the 2 teams from this region to the inaugural Women's Futsal World Cup. Panama has already locked in their spot, and it's whoever they face in the final, the team that will join them. Now here's Canada almost answering their best chance so far. Erica Pion coming in off the bench and had a bit of an empty net there for a second to shoot at, just missed it on that short side. So it's the 2 teams that make it to the final that will represent CONCACAF in that Futsal World Cup. You don't have to win this championship, you just got to make it into the final match tomorrow. So that means Panama is in, and they have secured their spot, and whoever wins this game will join them in the World Cup later this year. Canada playing direct. This is pretty much their style. They like to play those long balls vertically through the air from the back, try to get that hold-up play right in front of the opposition goal, and then have runners playing off both sides to create some quick combinations and goal-scoring opportunities. Canada so far with 11 goals and 4 conceded through this tournament. They finished second in Group B. While for Mexico, 13 goals, and also like Canada, they've allowed 4, finishing first in Group A. Now Canada looked like they were building some momentum, but that's good defense by the Mexicans recovering, but then they can't take advantage in transition. This is a Mexican team that can hurt you in a lot of different ways. In possession, on the counter, they have the pace and the technical skill that other teams find hard to match. Both Canada and Mexico, the 2 top defensive teams in the tournaments. Mexico, the best offensive team with the most goals so far. Now 14, including this one here today. And what's also notable about this Mexican team is the depth and breadth of their offensive talent, as they have 8 different goal scorers so far through these first 4 games. No other team can match that tally.
Canada trying to play quick, intercepted by Mexico at midfield, but the Canadians take it right back. Erica Hindmarsh, who has in this tournament. That was against the U.S., one of their 3 2 days ago. Huge win on the final day of the group phase to get the Canadians into this semifinal match. And going along to keeper Tellier, trying to take advantage of Cano out of the goal. Trying to catch the keeper off guard, and not a bad look. Morantes, hassled by he. Now Sheila he, and Cano comes out to cut down the angle. That's good goaltending. Natalia Cano, one of the top goaltenders in this tournament. Canada never trailed in their win over the U.S. 2 days ago, and now finding themselves down 1-0 here to Mexico. As Broussard is taken down, wanted a call as she fired high and wide. Esther Broussard, one of the top goal scorers for the Canadians, has a pair in this tournament. She's also been vital in that hold-up play. She's been kind of the target striker, where they played it long and she's used her big frame. She's tall, she's physical, able to hold the ball up and wait for her teammates to support. She tries to curl it in here towards that back post, but it gets by its intended target, Erica Hindmarsh. Substitutions now for each team, and wholesale for the Canadians, making a full change. Tellier throws long. Canada resetting in midfield. Quick turn. And the Mexicans collapsing the defense near the top of the box. Dadalay flicks it ahead, looks to get the return pass, and once again Cano came out to make a big save. That's 2 here in the last few minutes for the Mexican keeper, reading the play, knowing she had to come out and not only cut down the angle, but make herself bigger, and not give Dadalay an opportunity to find the target. Going up against Stephanie Dadalay, the leading goal scorer for Canada so far. There's Tellier taking the long ball. She'll fire it back downfield. And out Dadalay fires, but really didn't get all of it. That was laid off nicely by Cynthia Gaspar-Ferrer. She has 3 goals for Canada here and also a pair of assists. She had a terrific assist in the win over the U.S. Now Shears with the ball, plays it across the pitch. Now on the turn, Peon looking for a lane and really couldn't get a quality shot off. That was a huge psychological and emotional win for Canada over the U.S. on Thursday. They had a day to kind of reset and focus now on their neighbors further south in Mexico for this rare opportunity in the Final Four. And after that first Mexican goal, it's been largely possession controlled by Canada. 7 minutes deep here in this first half. Mexico with a 5-goal win in their opening game, won by 3 over Cuba, and then the narrow win over Panama in their final game of round-robin play. If they can get by the Canadians here, they'll have that confidence of having already beaten Panama when they take them on in the final tomorrow. But long way still to go here. Canada knows how to come from behind. They've been in multiple close games here at this tournament. Again, they lost to Costa Rica on the first day 3-2. Beat the U.S. in a tight game in their final group stage match. The only one-sided game was their 6-0 shutout over Honduras. Now Mexico back on the ball. Here's the goal scorer, Aguiar, putting it back in play. Fine opening effort to get the only tally so far here in this first half. That pass slides all the way on to Letelier. Now Broussard. They're back to goal. Things kind of breaking down there in the final third for Canada. This is Itzel Cruz. Deflects out. Intercepted by Broussard. Trying to start the counter. Long blast at midfield, and it'll belong to Mexico. Deep in the corner. Not enough dark shirts there in the final third. They will reset back at midfield. Laid off, but the Canadians back defensively. And more substitutions now coming up for the Canadians. Dadley will clip it towards the goal. Now Mexico, though, so good at getting back. They've been very attentive, haven't been caught off guard by the Canadians' desire to play direct. That'll go out and belong to Canada. The Canadians don't possess the depth of offensive scoring ability that the Mexicans do, and they're more top-heavy with more players with multiple goals this tournament. That's Gosselin, who's now positioned in front of the Mexico goal. Now Dadalay will play it in from the wing, and just no one there. Canadians will have to be better on the ball, crisper and more accurate, trying to execute those passes in the final third here. That's where things have kind of gotten away from them. They were sharper in the win over the U.S., and that was one of the big differences in allowing them to get the 2-goal win. Adelaide trying to turn, but again, Mexico with Soto able to smother. That'll be a foul. Now Mexico, for all of their offensive ability and the bandwidth that they have of different goal scorers, also very good defensively. This is probably the most complete team at this event. Now they're going to get the free kick from midfield. Already up 1-0 on the goal from Rosa Aguiar. Now Gosselin couldn't control it for Canada. Gosselin again though. Dropping deeper, Tellier will blast it down the field. And again, full substitutions for the Canadian side. Tellier lofts it down. It was intended for Brassard. Goes out, and it belongs to Canada. The midpoint of this first half, timeout taken by the Canadians. They trail 1-0 here. Rosa Aguiar for Mexico in the opening couple of minutes. The only goals so far. And Mexico with the early advantage here in this second semifinal from this Concacaf Women's Futsal Championship in Guatemala. And now Canada putting it back in play, and the quick shot is stopped by Cano. He's been very good. Making 3 huge saves already in this first half. But the Canadians get another opportunity here to fire it over the bar. And a corner kick for Canada. First corner kick we've had. Man, one time it deflected by Brassard and almost went in. About as close as they have come. Good idea. Canada desperately searching for the equalizer here. 8 minutes left to go in the first half. They have had more of the possession than Mexico, just haven't had that final ball. Noah has been very good in goal for Mexico, and now they're trying to play in transition here. On the far side, that's broken up. It was intended for that far post. That could have easily been the second goal for Mexico, but instead, the Canadians rally defensively. Call made, it will belong to Mexico, however. As Freire checks back in. Castafineda puts it back in play for Mexico. Now Cruz. Lobs it all the way for Futsal. Dangerous play, but Italia went out and really made it difficult for Rosa Aguilar to keep her eye on that one. Certainly affected the play. Now the one-timer is blocked, but it stays in. Peon set to play it back in. Canada trying to engineer something here. Just a poor attempt to get it back in. And now off of Peon and out for Mexico. He's pressuring, looking to turn the Mexicans over. And now here's Freire. Tough angle. And then it was blocked. Now Freire again. Trying to turn, trying to get a good angle for a shot.
5.5 minutes left to go here in this first half from Guatemala and Mexico with the 2-0 lead on Canada. Canadians have actually had more possession so far through this first half, but Mexico has been more clinical offensively, taking advantage of the opportunities that they have been afforded to capitalize. And as a result, Canada finding themselves trailing by multiple goals for the first time in this tournament. They lost their first game, but it was close all the way through with Costa Rica. They had the big shutout over Honduras 6-0 and never trailed when they beat the U.S. in the final group stage game on Thursday. But now trailing by 2 here in the semis to Mexico. Now Gosselin, some miscommunication as she tries to lay it off and now trying to get back defensively. Mexico had a couple of players streaking. 5 minutes remaining, first half. Just good physical play by Mexico defensively, winning a lot of these duels. Tellier goes straight for Gosselin. Back to Dadele. And it deflects out. And let's see. It'll belong to Mexico. Substitutions for the Mexicans now. Paulina Cruz here. Back for Cano, who has been excellent so far in goal today for the favorites. Mexico trying to win their 4th consecutive game here in this tournament and remain perfect to advance to the final tomorrow against Panama, a team they have already beaten. And it would also get them into the inaugural Women's Futsal World Cup. Mexico building again. 4 Canadians, though, back defending, trying to get a lot of bodies between the ball and the goal. Canada cannot afford to concede another here before the break. Mexico, some swift passing. That one goes out, though. Now Canada just can't get things organized offensively. Some mistimed passes, and I think just players not on the same page. Here's Cano serving it long. Player wide open, and then the volley. Tellier makes the save. That is classic futsal right there. Terrific play by the keeper, and then the turn. And Garantis didn't waste much time, didn't allow the defense to recover, just volleyed it quickly, and almost scored the third for the Mexicans. And now Mexico adds that third, and they are starting to run away with this. Garantis scores her second of the tournament. And it's 3 first-half goals with exactly 3 minutes left to go in the opening frame, as Mexico has a commanding advantage now. Garantis, the one-time volley. Oh, just a terrific strike. Inch perfect, and again, classic futsal. Quick movement, precision, accuracy, and power to get the goal. And now Mexico trying to get bodies forward here to add potentially a fourth. A demonstrative opening half here. Three goals from 3 different players for a team that has already had 8 different goal scorers in the tournament. And also getting back defensively as well. Blocking so many shots here, not giving Canada any openings, and sometimes it's been hard for Canada to remain patient in the offensive end. It's been one of the issues for Canada in the tournament. It's just that poise on the ball in the final third and taking their chances when they come. This first half has not been their best in that regard. Under 2 minutes now left to go. They trail by 3. And Canada just getting swarmed defensively by Mexico and now trying to create a 2-on-1 the other way. Tellier goes diving, and it just misses on that far side. And Mexico showing their acumen and not only scoring in possession, but also being able to play quickly on the counter like that and be dangerous as well. Now Pion. So many shots blocked by Mexico here in this first half, and again a 2-on-1. Looking for a shooting lane. And played right through the mouth of the goal. No one there, though, in a dark shirt. Broussard tries to lay it off. And then the one-timer is fired, and again, never makes it through on goal. Mexico, a ton of blocked shots here in this first half, and now a player is down. Took it right in the gut. It's the case of just having the wind knocked out of her. Karen Hernandez coming over to help out, and And now the training staff finally arrives. With just over a minute left to go here in this first half. Mexico throwing bodies in front of the ball. And even when they do get through, Natalie Cano has been terrific in goal for Mexico. One-timer off the restart. A couple of bodies hit the deck there in front of the Mexican goal. And now Mexico will try to be patient in the build-up here. Erica Soto played it backwards. And now the final minute of this first half. Mexico using the width of the field here. Tellier distributing long. Half a minute now left to go. It's been a frustrating first frame for the Canadians. Can they get on the board here? But no, it is Cano once again denying the shot. Brassard up top. But Cano has read this game so well from her goalkeeping position, coming out at just the right time. Tremendous instincts and several really good saves to maintain the clean sheet. And now Mexico looking to strike. Another 2-on-1 here if they can get this organized in the final 20 seconds. Boy, Canada has had their chances, but Cano has been sensational in goal. Mexico has been great defensively in front of her. And this has been a very emphatic first half performance by the team that has been the best squad in the tournament so far. This is going to take us to the break here in Guatemala. A very emphatic first 20 minutes for Mexico. And they have to feel like they have one foot in the final at this point. 3 goals from 3 different goal scorers, and they have the 3-0 lead over Canada in our second semifinal here at this Concacaf Women's Futsal Championship from Guatemala City. We are on our way to the second half here from Guatemala City, and Mexico on the verge of gaining their spots in the final tomorrow here at this Concacaf Women's Futsal Championship. Canada, meantime, a big hole to climb out of, trailing 3-0, largest deficit they have faced at this tournament so far, and certainly the biggest challenge as they try to overcome Mexico. Canada, though, will no doubt have the confidence of knowing that they created a lot of chances in that first half. They just didn't convert. If they can clean up some of their passing, be a little quicker and more efficient as well as clinical in front of goal, they might be able to work their way back into this. They cannot afford to concede any more to this potent Mexican squad that's been the highest scoring team of the tournament. Now 16 goals, and we're not yet through 4 games. They've only conceded 4. So they're basically scoring 4 goals for every one they're giving up. That's tremendous on the part of the Mexicans. And hoping for a second match with Panama tomorrow, this time in the final, after they already beat Panama in the group stage 2 days ago. And a reminder, the 2 teams that make it to the final also get a spot in the inaugural Women's Futsal World Cup. So Panama is already in that field, and Mexico hoping to join them by winning their semifinal matchup here tonight. Canada continuing to play long. Now, the 2 biggest surprises probably so far, the fact that the U.S. did not make it to the Final Four, didn't get out of the group, as Canada looks for a quick shot, and Cano makes the save, trying to ignite the transition. That goes by the boards. But going back to the biggest surprises, probably that the U.S. didn't get out of the group, and also that Costa Rica didn't get to the final. Costa Rica won their group. They were beaten by Panama by 2 goals earlier today. So Costa Rica is out, the U.S. is out. Neither team with a chance to get to the final, and neither team going to the World Cup. Long shots, and Cano is there. He tosses it long. Broussard trying to work it to that far side, fanned on, and it will belong to Mexico. Canada with 6 different goal scorers so far in this tournament, and 4 of those have multiple goals, but they have been shut out so far here today. And what's interesting is, even though Mexico has been the best team all around at this tournament, and they are the only team with a perfect record of 3 wins in 3 games, they do not have a shutout so far. Their opponents have scored in each and every match. Working on their first here today. Just underway, though, second half. 3-0 the lead. It's a bad pass. It's a giveaway, and there it is, the first Canadian goal off a mistake. And the tally for Canada comes from Jade Hunkov. She gets her first goal of the competition, and that's exactly what Canada needed to get back in this match. Just a ill-advised pass. Anytime you try to go across the field, the length of the field like that, it's a recipe for the other team to jump the route, intercept, and nothing Cano could do about that one. As Hunkov has Canada's first goal. Just as I was mentioning that Mexico had not recorded a shutout yet in this tournament, and they won't get one here today now. The lead is down to 2 goals, and Canada looks energized now as they try to once again slice into the gap. But they concede possession here in midfield. clever footwork at the end line. And it results in a corner kick for Mexico. You have not had many corner kicks in this match overall, and especially not for Mexico. One-time blast, partially blocked. Another long effort. Shots from distance are so low percentage. Heavy touch, and now it's a 2-on-1 for Mexico, trying to reestablish the 3-goal lead, and just couldn't quite do it. Tellier diving for it. A clean touch in front of goal, and that was a tremendous opportunity for Mexico. Once again, we're back up by 3. That'll be a free kick for Canada. Take another look here. Just fanned on by Erica Soto. So now Gosselin here. He's going to line this one. Interesting. Do you go for goal? Do you try and find a teammate here? Maybe play it square? Several options. And she just blasted it right through. Mexico again on the counter. They have such quick pace. And Canada had committed so many numbers up with that set piece that they had to get back quickly. Now it's a 2-on-2. And again coming up in front. Oh, they tap it in for the second goal here in the last 3 minutes. And Canada all of a sudden is within 1. Freire gets the goal, as Cano had come out, as she often has done here. And that time, it cost her, as they slid it by. And watch again. The goal comes from another Mexican mistake. Tremendous turn there from Lagasse. And then Freire almost losing her balance, but still able to slot it home. Almost on all fours there, as she had to work around the defender. It's the 4th goal of the tournament for Freire. Canada's now top goal scorer, holding that distinction individually. And all of a sudden, we have an entirely different match. A 1-goal game here, and still plenty of time. Not yet 3 minutes gone by here in the second half. And Mexico regroup. They were so good defensively in that first half. In the field and with Cano in goal, but 2 mistakes here have allowed the Canadians opportunities which they have capitalized on. And that's also something that Canada didn't do in the first half, is be clinical when given those chances. But they've taken the opportunity so far in this second frame, and they're within 1. And Brassard comes back. How unlikely is this? Her 3rd goal of the tournament, 3 goals in the span of about 4 minutes, and all of a sudden, it's an entirely different game, tied at 3. Wow. The biggest turnaround of any game we've had at this tournament. Brassard, with the strong physical hold-up play here, kept the defender on her back, and just got the angle with that wraparound in the right foot. And it is 3 apiece in Guatemala City, and the Mexicans are stunned. I mean, not even 4 full minutes gone by. And now Canada looking for the lead. Canada could not have any more motivation, any more life, any more energy than they do right now. I mean, they are flying, and Mexico is reeling. Mexico has to settle themselves down, get back in some kind of rhythm here, because it has all gone sideways for them. Leading 3-0 at halftime. And now 4 minutes into the second half, that entire lead has been erased. Can Mexico recover?
much of a psychological blow as it is on the scoreboard. And there's another pass across the field that it's intercepted. And again, those are the balls that you just can't play. I mean, in this sport, there's just not enough room, and there's not the geometry that allows you to make those kind of plays successfully. Too much time for the opponent to read and react and intercept, and now Mexico is going to use a timeout. It's not often you see a timeout so early in a half, but they've got to recalibrate here. I mean, they are reeling. Their head coach, trying to get them to settle down, their heads back in the game. This is the type of situation where all of a sudden you can just lose focus, lose confidence, and things can really get away permanently. But for Canada, boy, they are motoring. Now here's the one-timer. That's a good dummy, good set play off the restart. Down here, that is Friere, who had just scored a goal, one of the three here, holding the back of her head. Canada making the case there should have been a foul there, but it looked like they just might have touched heads. I don't know if there was actually an infraction there to be whistled. That delay on the restart for Canada. One touch into the middle, but nobody there for the Canadians. There's Broussard. Back to goal as she's so often effective that way. And at that time, Mexico able to take it away. They can't keep it in. Scramble at the middle of the field here as the teams exchange possession back and forth. What will those three goals do to this second half? Can Mexico reclaim their poise? And can Canada keep it rolling? Mexico a little shaky on that back line. They were so confident and executed so well in that first half, but it's a couple of mistakes from their defenders that have cost them here so far in this second half early. Now Friere trying the back heel. She actually set up a goal in the win over the U.S. just that way. She gets knocked down here, and no call is made. deflected out and remain with Mexico. The air seems to be struggling a little too physically. Now she's back down, holding her side. She was the one that had that head injury a moment ago. Has one of the 3 Canadian goals here so far in this second half. Canada applying the pressure up high, and again, forcing Mexico into mistakes. They turn it over. The belief of the Canadians just growing exponentially here with the way the second frame has started. Concacaf, who got the first goal, plays it all the way across and over the top of everyone. Ellier comes out for it. Tries to toss long. Lapse in concentration. Brassard turning and scoring. Her second in this second half. Brassard right now cannot be stopped. That ball into her at the top of the box. She's been able to turn, keep the defender on her back. She's got 4 goals for the tournament, and for the first time here tonight, Canada has the lead on Mexico. Off the restart, look how quickly she makes that turn, and then just a little flick. Both with the right foot. First on the turn, and then to just nudge it by Cano. What a game this has turned out to be. Mexico, with 3 goals in the first half of play, led 3-0 at the break. They were rolling, they were convincing. It looked like it was going to be one-way traffic the rest of the game, and a pretty convincing victory for the only team with a perfect record. But lo and behold, we're just 7 minutes into the second half, and Canada has ripped off 5 consecutive goals. Unbelievable. Oh, wait a minute. Nope, they're going to bring this one back. I'm going to say it was a handball. But in any case, my point still stands that it has been completely flipped on its head. 4 consecutive goals in the first 7 minutes of the second half, 4 unanswered for Canada, and they have their first lead of the game. This has been something else. Well, several of the goals have actually been courtesy of mistakes by Mexico, but something else has kind of been lost on this. As we'll take a look once again, and that was a handball that was called. So that's the reason that goal did not stand. It was a handball on Brassard. She was looking for the hat trick, and now looking for another opportunity. But that is a play that Mexico just has not been able to deal with in the second half. As I was about to say, one of the things that's kind of been lost here is the fact that Mexico has been starved for any offensive chances in this second half. Now, they didn't have a ton in the first half, but they did take advantage of the few they were given. They were clinical and opportunistic, but they haven't really had a sniff of goal here in this second half of play. It has been all Canada. Now, 8 minutes in, and the Canadians lead by 1. For some context onto just how remarkable this is. Coming into this game today, Mexico had conceded only 4 goals throughout the entire tournament, through the first 3 games combined. They've now given up that same amount, 4 total goals in the first 7 minutes of the second half alone. Almost unfathomable. That'll be a free kick for Canada. Just a heavy contact. Mellenhorst going down after absorbing the hit. Now how can Mexico respond? It has been rapid-fire goals for Canada here. Well worked, and Tellier comes out and makes the save at the angle. Probably her best save of the match so far. Mexico with the restart. The Canadians will pressure. And last touch by the Mexicans here. This has been something else. Broussard has been a handful, and number 9 in white there has just been unable to be stopped or even contained by Mexico here in this second half. Off the one touch. Some crafty footwork, but just couldn't get a clean shot away. This Canadian team that lost their very first match to Costa Rica on the opening day of the tournament, 3-2. At that point, you would have thought it was going to be tough to even get out of the group, but since then, back-to-back wins, and now, in the semifinals, a huge comeback. And looking for more to add to it. Sloppy at the back here in this second half. They are just discombobulated, disorganized. Certainly not the team we saw in the first half, nor the team we saw in their first 3 games when they won most convincingly. A team that topped their group. And after the first 20 minutes here, looked to be easily cruising towards rematch with Panama, but this time in the final tomorrow. Here's a turnover. Chance for the Canadians to add to the advantage. Broussard fighting for it. Blocked. And Carol's out. It will stay with Canada. That player is down here for the Canadians. That was a hard hit. And that is Shayla Key, who is still struggling. She was already going down when she got clipped, but also took a left foot to the leg. Well, she'll come out here. Bad entry pass. Mexico a little shaky here at the back here in the second half. They give the ball away once more. They have not been able to generate any kind of momentum through the middle of the field. As a result, Canada has been able to smother them defensively, not let them get anything organized in the final third. not let them create any chances. I mean, Mexico is just having trouble coming out of their own end right now. Cano slides for that one as we are midway through this second half. And who would have thought at the end of the first half we'd be where we are now on the scoreboard. Canada scampering, covering, scurrying all over the place defensively, trying to protect this lead. Mexico trying to rediscover their offensive touch. Canada not giving them much time on the ball. It's going to be a foul and a free kick for Mexico. Yeah, just an unnecessary foul, too. Free kicks and a blast like that from Evelyn Gonzalez is so hard to pull off. You have the wall, you have a small target. Sometimes you're better off laying it off to a teammate instead. That one's cut out by the Canadians. It'll roll all the way out, and Cano will play it back in for Mexico. Broussard couldn't navigate that time. And now the Mexicans building. And a shot from the angle goes wide of the mark. Now Mexico here, a chance, and Allier, another good save. Two best have come here in the second half as Mexico has pushed for the equalizer. That was in tight as well. Gonzalez ripping that shot. Now Broussard plays it out wide. Mexico looking for some magic here in Guatemala. That's a good give and go, and Tellier makes the save as she deflects it off her own post. Oh, she has been at her best here in these last 5 minutes. There's a one-timer that goes wide. Oh, that was a terrific stop off a sensational give-and-go play for Mexico. As the Mexicans are now going through the gears here. Gonzalez, a terrific shot, and I think that might have been the save of the match. Cano also makes a stop on the other end. So fine saves from each keeper, but I tell you what, Tellier with that save, I mean, looking at it especially again on the replay, I mean, that might be one of the saves of the entire tournament. Here's Freire going back defensively. Not much Tellier could do about the 3 goals for Mexico in the first half, and boy, she has come alive here so far in the second half, shutting out the Mexicans here in this second frame to this point. Tellier with a long blast. Off of Freire's head. You can kind of sense that Mexico is getting their mojo back here offensively. Starting to move the ball, engineer some chances, getting some quality shots. This is something that they did not have in the first 10 minutes of this second half. Canada forced to defend a little bit more after they were very much on the front foot in the first 5 minutes. The momentum starting to kind of swing back the other way, but Canada this time with the lead and now trying to play on the counter. Mexico takes it away, 3-on-2. Scamper back into their own end now. Soto. Pass intercepted. There's no one there for Canada. Numbers game at that point. They had 2 on that left-hand side, so nobody could commit to charging the goal. For a shooting lane, but it goes right to Tellier. And between her and Brassard, they've been the 2 best Canadian players here in the second half. Just taking a little too long for Dadele to get it out from under her feet there. That was a good pass after the reception from the long ball. It is a corner kick. Pion will take it. Oh, that's a terrible corner kick, almost allowing a breakaway for Mexico. Have to be better than that. And Tellier just plays it long. Canada determined defensively. Now here's a break. 1v1, Cano comes out. Mellenhorst almost broke all the way in. Now she gets it lost in her feet, and then on a rebound, and it's poked just wide. And Dadele was right there. There's a pair of goals in this tournament. Get the feeling if Canada can get one more here, that might be enough to complete a memorable comeback. Under half a dozen minutes now left to go. Mexico with 3 goals in the first half, Canada 4 in the second. Unlike any game we have seen here in Guatemala this week, and it comes in the semifinals with a spot in the finals on the line, and also a spot in the inaugural Futsal World Cup for women. So huge stakes in this game for these 2 teams. Not only a place in the final, but if you just get to the final, you get a spot in the World Cup. So this is massive for both of these sides. Easy foul to call on Maud Lagasse. Tellier for Brassard, trying to turn. And that has been a go-to move for the Canadians. Either Brassard is able to hold it up and get herself into a shooting position and take a shot herself, or she's able to hold it long enough for a teammate to run off of her, and she can involve them in the play with a pass. So it can be effective in multiple ways, and it's something that Mexico has really not had an answer for in this game. And now south of 5 minutes left to go. Pass intended for Brassard. It'll stay with the Canadians. She has been a handful and then some. corner. 2 defenders on her. Just kind of working on the clock. Not exactly a well played out scenario for Canada there as they give the ball away. And now here comes Mexico going over the top, and Tellier was kind of caught in between, didn't know to play the ball or the player there, so she kind of hesitated for a moment. Gives Mexico a corner kick with 4.5 to go. And the one-time shot blocked at the... Mexico really with more pace in their movement in possession, working the ball more quickly, sharper passes, connecting it, not giving it away. This is better for Mexico here in the last 7 or 8 minutes. But has the damage been done? Canada desperately trying to hang on. Mexico trying to battle back. Mexico's movement with the ball, the players themselves, all much better here. After getting through that early portion of the second half where they were just hit by a ton of bricks the way Canada steamrolled them. Remember, Mexico has already used their timeout. That came after the first few minutes of this second half because of the way that Canada, in succession, just rattled off 3 straight goals in 3 minutes to tie this game. Mexico doesn't have another timeout here to try and set something up late in this game. They have to just play it out. Just over 3 minutes now left to go. Trailing by 1, and at one point they led by 3. Trying to give and go, and Canada just determined to sit back in that low little collapsed block and defend for their lives. Trying to set up a date with Panama tomorrow in the final. Panama earlier today in the first semifinal beating Costa Rica 3-1. So this would mean that each of the 2 second place teams in the 2 groups would be moving on to the final to play each other if this score holds. As it was Panama finishing second to Mexico in Group B, and Canada second to Costa Rica in Group A, as that shot misses at the far post. Not have expected this after the way the group stage ended. Tellier, been one of the players of this second half for Canada. And now out for Dadale, who just totally fails in the shot. And now Mexico has got the extra attacker in the offensive zone. Their goal is empty here. As Aguiar wearing the yellow number 9. She had the first 2 goals for Mexico in that first half. 2 minutes left to go. Chipped up and volleyed away. So what will happen is they'll keep that extra attacker on in the offensive end, and when the Canadians get it, and if they have to go back on defense, they will switch back to the keeper, Cano. Now Tellier is going to go for goal here and just misses. There's the switch. Cano goes back in goal in her own end. They get the traditional keeper back in for a moment. And now she'll change as they come up on offense here past midfield. Long ball over everyone. So Cano will have to go back in goal here. Timeout taken by the Canadians. So Canada trying to set things up here. Interesting timeout. I guess they want to dial in their defensive structure here, but what it also does is allows Mexico a break to sort of set up potentially what they might want to do on offense. So, risk-reward scenario for both teams. So, each side with an opportunity here to craft exactly how they want to see this play out. Whose vision will come true. 1:42 left. Mexico with 3 goals in the first half. Canada 4 here in the second. Mexico with a perfect, unbeaten record on the line here. Wins so far over Guatemala, Cuba, and Panama. Canada looking for their 3rd straight win after an opening day loss to Costa Rica. Canada beating the U.S. in their previous game and trying to maintain this unlikely path to the final tomorrow. Panama awaits the winner. Both teams out of timeouts. Canada just trying to keep it in the corner, trying to keep it in bounds to keep the clock moving. Can only do it for so long. And now the extra attacker back on with Aguiar. Trying to protect those shooting lanes. Tellier just totally gives the ball away. You want to be careful in your own end, but you don't want to concede possession too quickly. It stops the clock and just gives the ball back over to your opposition here. The extra attacker once again. That's Aguiar at the bottom of the screen in yellow. Goal is empty for Mexico with under a minute now left to play. Mexico looking for a lane. And there's the long shot that misses wide. Stop the clock. There's 2 opportunities now. The U.S. has had to go for goal when it's been empty. Will they get another? Put this game away. Time running low on Mexico. Trying to cross it in the middle. Canada will clear it out. Aguiar puts it back in play. Half a minute remaining. Mexico desperate at this point. Trying to avoid what would be an epic collapse here. They fully had this game under their control at halftime, leading 3-0. Canada ripping off 4 unanswered goals here in the second half to take the lead. Now, from out high, straight away, 15 seconds left to go. Mexico looking for a shot, and Tellier ushers it out. So 9.7 on the clock. It'll be a corner kick. Gomez to Aguiar. The blast deflected by Canada. Another corner kick and 7.5 remaining. He's going to loop this one to the far side. One-time volley. 5 seconds remaining now. Again, the one-time volley. Goal with 1.8 left to go. Are you kidding? Ruby Gomez on that far side gets the equalizer, and this game takes another dramatic turn. Look at this little chip here. Gomez, the line drive. And she buries it. Tellier probably should have done better, but now we are going to go to extra time. Unreal. And now Mexico, all kinds of momentum. It's hard to believe. It's hard to really get your head around what has just taken place here. 3 goals for Mexico in the first half, 4 for Canada at the outset of the second, and then Mexico against the run of play, not having any quality shots in the second half. It's the tying goal with under 2 seconds left. Boy, it's hard to figure what was the bigger collapse. Mexico after leading by 3 in the first half, or Canada allowing the tying goal there at the end of regulation. So we will have 2 5-minute overtime periods. It is not golden goal. If it is still tied after that, we will go to penalties. Now the mentality has to shift for Canada. They had been so defensive-minded there in the last few minutes, just trying to finish off the game, and they had pretty much abandoned their offensive approach. But now they have to get back to it with that woman right there, Broussard, who has 2 goals. Mexico, meantime, can pretty much keep their foot on the gas and continue the way they have been going here. All right, so 2 5-minute overtime periods. Which way is the pendulum going to swing next? I mean, you could barely script anything more dramatic for the way this game has gone. You look at the score and you see it's tied at 4, but if you explain to anyone who hadn't watched how we got here, they would barely believe it. Three goals for Mexico in the first half. 4 goals in the first 4 minutes of the second half for Canada. But then the tying goal for Mexico in the final 2 seconds of regulation. 4 apiece, overtime for the right to play Panama in the final tomorrow and earn a spot at the inaugural Futsal Women's World Cup. What a Saturday night in Guatemala City this has been. Momentum, flow, rhythm, hard to predict. You'd have to say that Mexico has the momentum and the adrenaline shot from that tying goal there, but boy, the way this game has swung back and forth, it's hard to figure where the next turn is going to come from. It's interesting how Mexico got the tying goal. It was a series of chips from one side to the other that finally produced that goal after they had been keeping it on the ground, and that really hadn't even led to a shot on goal. Now down to Broussard, and she's taken down, no call though. Now Gomez, who got the tying goal for Mexico. Headed up and grabbed by Cano. Now Gomez. You think back too towards the final minutes of regulation when Canada had a chance to put it away. Remember when Mexico had pulled the keeper and they had that empty net. There were 2 opportunities in particular where Canada tried to play the long ball towards that empty goal and they missed it. If one of those finds the empty net, this game is over. But not taking advantage of that opportunity, may come back to cost them. Now you wonder, too, here in the extra session, given the fact that it's overtime, does each team take a more measured and careful approach, not wanting to make a big mistake and playing for penalties instead? Mexico working the perimeter. Now Broussard. And couldn't control it. That's a good spin, good turn, good footwork. And Tellier came out to cut down the angle. Gonzalez with the shot, but didn't have much of a lane. Could have actually chipped her if she was patient enough. Trickles through. Tellier waiting for Broussard to get downfield. Broussard gets it back, trying to get a shot, but deflected out for a corner. Broussard again, trying to head it in. I think it was deflected. It'll be another corner kick. There's Humph, who had the first Canada goal in the second half of play. Trying to turn again. Broussard scored 2 already in this game. Just couldn't quite get the leg wrapped around the ball. Left to go in the first overtime period. Good duel won by Broussard. Now trying to go 1v1. And couldn't get the shot through. Mexico doing a better job at containing her, not letting her get those shots on frame here in overtime. We're now down under a minute left to go in the first of the 2 overtime periods. One more 5-minute session to come. Does Mexico have some more magic here? Well, they save it for the second overtime period. Canada looking for a shot, and something that they haven't really been able to come up with here so far in overtime. They haven't got a shot on target. But they will get an opportunity here. This will be interesting. 7.6 on the clock. Mellenhurst just taken down by Hernandez. And so a free kick from straight away. Interesting opportunity for Gosselin here, who's going to line it up. Gosselin with this free kick, 7.6 on the clock, first overtime. Blocked right by the wall. And Mexico trying to hurry for a shot, and they won't get one away. 1.5 on the clock now. And we're going to go to the second overtime period here. Tied at 4. No scoring in the first overtime. So one more 5-minute session to come. And penalties if necessary. So 5 more minutes. Mexico with the first 3 goals of the game, Canada the next 4, and then Mexico one final regulation goal in the last 2 seconds to send us to this overtime. No scoring in the first session, and now the second overtime period about to commence. Neither team any really genuine grade A scoring chances in that first overtime period. And this is where you start to wonder, how much will they risk it and take chances to score in overtime versus not wanting to leave themselves vulnerable at the back, make a mistake, and maybe just take your chances in penalties instead. Here's Brassard for Canada. Shipped up towards Brassard. A good little flick there, and Cano was ready for it. That was well done. Handball call. That's intercepted by Canada. Brassard running. Can they get it to her? No. Now home. Shot deflected out. corner kick. Here's Gomez turning. She had the tying goal at the end of regulation. Looking for a shooting lane here. It's blocked. Mexico will hang on to it. And then a header. Boy, that was a good effort. Just wide. Pion has it tackled away from her. Canada ball. 3 minutes left to go. And the goals have all come in this game in a flurry, except that tying goal at the end of regulation. Mexico got all 3 of theirs in the first half in quick succession, and then Canada with 4 goals in 4 minutes at the outset of the second half, and then we went about 16 minutes through the remainder of the second frame without a goal until that tying goal from Gomez in the final 2 seconds. No scoring in the first 5-minute overtime period, and none so far across the line here in the second. Mexico certainly looking like the more dangerous team offensively here in overtime. Can they capitalize? Will they get an opportunity? Now 2-on-1 for Canada. Oh, but an errant pass broken up by Gomez. Boy. Best chance in this overtime period for the Canadians. And a player down. Tellier will play it long for Broussard. It'll be flicked out and a corner kick. Exactly 2 minutes remaining in the second overtime period. This is Pion. defensively. Here comes Tellier, and that's not a good ball. Tellier read it well. Chance for Mexico here with 1.5 minutes remaining. They get bodies forward. Change for Canada. Mexico trying to restart quickly. Take advantage of the opportunity. Now Broussard. 2 defenders on her. 1 minute left to go in overtime. Now Gomez trying to run it down. Couldn't quite get there. Now, on the turn, Broussard looking for a lane to shoot. Again, 2 defenders coming out to smother her. Couldn't get the shot away. Gomez, the other direction for Mexico, a little out of her reach, but it'll be Mexico ball here with 46 left. Half a minute. Ball through the channel. Now 20 seconds remaining. Tellier finding Pion. Canada get that final shot. There's a bad giveaway here. It'll be a 3-on-2 if they can get it organized. Aguiar, weak shot. And now final 6 seconds. Tellier is going to roll it out, and they won't get a shot out. So we will go to penalties to decide it. 5 penalties apiece. It is Mexico, it is Canada, it is a spot in the final, on the line here tonight in Guatemala City. There has been some kind of flow to this game. 3 goals for Mexico in the first half, 4 in the first 4 minutes of the second half for Canada. It looked like Canada was going to close it out, and then they cough up the lead in the final 2 seconds of regulation. No scoring through 2 overtime periods, so it comes down to penalties. For a spot in the final against Panama tomorrow and a spot in the inaugural Futsal World Cup. Penalties apiece. Keep going in sudden death fashion if we're still tied. shooting down goals to the left. So it will be Mexico first. Kenya Castaneda with the first penalty. Tellier in goal for Canada. And Mexico is on the board. That's the way you want to do it in penalties in futsal. Just pick out your spot and hit it with authority. The worst thing you can do is get too cute and try to be especially careful. Joel Gosselin. Next up for Canada against Cano in goal for Mexico. One apiece. Soto. Now for the Mexicans. Everyone has gone to their left so far in the first three shots, and all three have gone in. Now Broussard. Two apiece. Evelyn, and it's Gonzalez coming up next. The teams collectively 4 for their first 4. And the first save is made by Tellier. So Canada takes the advantage. Again, trying to go to the left. So now to consolidate that save with their 3rd consecutive goal. Gotta like multiple goal scorer here. Now trying to add to the Canadian advantage. Oh, but she's denied. Cano makes the stop, so after each team had scored in their first 2 chances, they each miss on their 3rd. It's all square once again. Round number 4. In this game, just so many twists and turns, but it all comes back a reversion to the mean. All roads lead back to a very balanced result. And now next up for Mexico, this is Yannick Benitez. Well taken penalty. Jade Humphoff, who scored the first goal for Canada here tonight. If she can't convert this, Mexico will have a chance to win it with their next shot. Perfectly placed and with authority too. So down to the final round. 3 makes and 1 miss for each team. So basically, we are in sudden death at this point. And now this is Gomez, who had the tying goal with 1.8 seconds left in regulation. Ruby Gomez for Mexico. Saved by Tellier. And now the Canadians can win it with this next shot. Oh, for Gomez, this could be from ecstasy to heartbreak with her 2 key shots of the match. So now for Canada, with this shot, Friere can send them to the final tomorrow and also the inaugural Women's World Cup. Is in the final in Guatemala City, and then will also go to the World Cup for the first time. What an emotional roller coaster. I mean, the pendulum could not have swung back and forth in any more extreme directions than it did in this game tonight. Mexico with 3 first-half goals. Canada 4 unanswered in the second half. And then Mexico tying the game with 1.8 seconds left in regulation. No scoring in the 2 overtime periods. And then it comes down to the final round in penalties. And then to add to the craziness, you have Ruby Gomez, who had tied the game with under 2 seconds to go in regulation for Mexico. She had the last shot for the Mexicans, and it was her miss that ultimately led Canada to get the victory on the final shot of the night. Boy, oh boy. The drama could not have been any higher. So it is the 2 teams who finished second in their group who will now meet in the title game tomorrow. Panama finishing second to Mexico in Group A. And then in the other group, you had Costa Rica finishing first ahead of Canada. But it's Panama and Canada meeting in the final instead of the 2 group winners, Costa Rica and Mexico. Canada looked like they were going to be run out of the building at the end of the first half. Then they looked like they were going to finish it off with a dramatic comeback in regulation, but it went all the way to penalties.
World Cup.
Yeah.
So what was the key for this victory today?
I think we just had to put a lot of our heart into it. It kind of started off a little rough, but we came back as a team. We wanted it so bad, and I think that's what brought us to this win.
A very intense match.
Yeah.
How will you prepare for tomorrow?
I think just keep doing what we're doing. Like, I think this will definitely help us push us in the right way again. Like when we played the U.S., that was a good match. That was one of our best match, and now we have this, which is we just keep taking bigger steps and we keep getting better each game. So,
Thank you very much.
yeah, thank you.
What a
Demostró una gran templanza durante todo el torneo. ¿Qué te llevas de positivo de todo a pesar del resultado?
No, pues primero que nada que los mexicanos somos así, aguerridos, que luchamos por lo que queremos, que no importa el rival, el tiempo que tuvimos para entrenar. Siento que más que nada eso, la fuerza que tuvimos para mantenernos arriba. Ahorita no se nos dio el resultado, pero sé que si nos hubiéramos tenido un poco más de tiempo, no nos conocíamos muy bien y siento que hicimos un gran desempeño a lo largo del torneo.
Estuvieron tan cerca. ¿Qué pasó? ¿En qué momento se dejaron remontar? ¿Qué pasó?
Pues yo creo que caímos un poco en la confianza, que íbamos 3-0. Hubo un momento en el que intentamos mantener la calma, pero ya era un poco tarde. Pero luego dimos la esperanza de que queríamos seguir ahí, que seguíamos en el juego, quedando un segundo de partido. Pero al final no se nos dio el resultado. Y muchísimas gracias a los profesores que confiaron en nosotras, pero esta vez no se dio.
Muchas gracias.
No.
Well, they endured the ride over a wild night in Guatemala City. And now Canada with huge back-to-back victories here. First over the U.S. just to get to the semifinals, and now over the top team in the tournament, Mexico, to get to the final. So many highlights to pack in here. But it's easy to track because of the nature of this game and the way it unfolded. It was all Mexico in the first 20 minutes. It would be Rosa Aguiar here with a very patient opportunity and getting the opening goal for Mexico. Canada trying to answer, but Cano was terrific in goal in that first half for the Mexicans. And then Mexico adding another here to make it 2-0. Aguiar once again, this time from that left-hand side, slotting through a one-timer. And then their third would be probably the best goal that they had in the first half, the one-timer from Durantes, her second goal of the tournament, the volley into the corner. And after the first half, it was 3-0 in favor of Mexico, and it looked like they were going to run away with this convincing victory. But then Canada coming out in the second half, and they just poured it on, taking advantage of a few miscues defensively by the Mexicans, and all of a sudden getting on the board and generating some momentum. And Mexico all of a sudden found themselves reeling, couldn't get a quality shot, while Canada kept it coming, taking advantage of the miscues on defense. And then Canada with Freire here, she gets her fourth goal of the tournament. Well, at this point, it was a one-goal game. And Canada kept the pressure on. Then it would be Brassard, the first of her two goals, on the hold-up, the turn, and slotting it into the corner. That time turning to her left, but this time turning to her right, the quick flick that would finish off a remarkable streak for Canada. 4 goals in the first 4 minutes of the second half, 4 unanswered tallies to take their first lead of the game at 4-3. And then it would stay that way through a lot of Mexican chances late, and it would remain a 1-goal Canadian lead all the way until the final seconds. It would come down to this, 1.8 left to go, and Ruby Gomez with the blast to tie the game at 4 and send us to overtime. And then no scoring in the 2 5-minute overtime periods. Neither team had a lot of quality chances. It was a more conservative approach by each side. So it would take us to penalties to decide it. And then Gomez, who had made the remarkable tying goal, She then gets the last Mexican shot saved. Freire gets the winner, and Canada advances with their final shot of the night on penalties. A surprising, shocking, dramatic, incredible victory for Canada. So once again, in penalties, it's Canada over Mexico, and that means tomorrow in the final, it'll be Canada facing Panama for the right to win this first ever Concacaf Futsal Women's Championship. Both of those squads, though, are in the World Cup as they book their spot by getting to the final. So again, Canada over Mexico. It'll be Panama and Canada in the final tomorrow from here in Guatemala City.